This meeting is being recorded.
Excellent.
Yay.
Premium. Took a short
Premium
break
user.
and bought the premium to come up in the world. Now we got the chops to compete with the big fish. Uh, can I share the screen equally with you? Add pin. Oh yeah. There you go. Yeah, I'm computer savvy enough. Can figure things out. I'm not a Giga Chad hacker though, like you guys. Yeah,
In the meantime, I turned my phone into camera.
it works perfectly.
I
Yeah,
think it has a delay.
a little
Like
bit.
okay, so I made it into a webcam and then fed this output from the IP camera to a virtual device, and it
Yeah. 1 second.
worked.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
And I can show you my mug now.
Ah, beautiful mug.
Yeah.
uh, I can take off my jacket because it's warm now. But I'm keeping on my hat because my hair is crazy. So I need to keep it under control. Yeah.
My wife made it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Looks good. Is it green?
Yeah, it's green, like yours. I mean, different shade, but I also have a sweater from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, wait, what does the name Licho come from?
In Polish, I read it as licho. It is a Slavic demon that is like the hero of many sayings that we have in Polish. Like we say, licho nie śpi, it means licho doesn't sleep. And like you should always beware because licho never sleeps. And unfortunately, I got insomnia, so
Yeah, you never sleep.
yeah, licho never sleeps. So yeah, we have like mm, licho wzięło, what means licho took him or licho took it, or licho knows. We say licho wie. Like we have really many sayings about this little demon. Uh, uh, and I thought it's cool, and it was back in secondary school.
Funny. I have to just grab my charger from my computer. 1 second. Oh.
So I have that nickname since forever.
That's cool. So you've always been a demon.
Slavic demons are like not those Judeo-Christian lore demons, like those evil things from hell, just forces of nature.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. Mm, like those creatures, creatures living in forest. Uh, uh, just that's like the Witcher stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's more comforting because the Christian demons are just like there's no there's no gray area. The Christian demons are just bad. Like, don't let a demon into your life, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
Expel.
just a force of nature.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, not that Alijo exists; it doesn't. But it's a lore.
that's exactly what they want you to think.
Ah, but those Judeo-Christian, right? So, those one that will want you to think that.
Uh, I'd love to do a religion podcast one day with Tobias.
Oh yeah, with Tobias, that would be great.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he would also want to do that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. It's good for the culture. But okay, we were talking about Meter and Cancius, the two wannabes. Um, I mean, is there much? Is there anything else to say about it? Even what Paul is trying to do when you initially start off with a fixed reward, it's kind of just making the system pre-mineable.
Yeah,
It's letting the early people get a bunch of money um, on top of what was supposed to just be digital cash.
yeah, yeah. Um,
It's like an artificial capture of the supply almost.
yeah. I mean, hard to understand it in a different way.
Well, how what?
Like anyone joining later is just at a disadvantage, right? And with Ergon, no matter when you join, you get like mm, I mean, if you're aware of what you're buying, right? You're getting a good price,
Yeah,
and possibly the future even like you won't have to wait for the price to get lower when I mean less of those oscillations will be happening.
yeah,
So ideally, you can get in and get out whenever you want and not care about the market conditions and let the speculators. I mean, you essentially just pay them for the service of providing you easy in and easy out, right? So that's their role. That's what they get paid for. Speculators, market makers, right? That's what they get paid for. It's a pretty fair job. I mean, mm, I like how speculators stop being this evil force and become just someone who benefits the system.
yes, yeah. It's definitely different. You know, I think we're in a very unique situation where all of the blockchains are the founders are basically demigods sitting on their ivory towers with their ICO funds and their pre-mines, and the price only just keeps going up, which just further enshrines their position of power in the
Yeah.
system. And Ergon is like truly the only neutral digital cash in existence. I mean,
Yeah.
I have not found any other. I've been looking very hard to try to
Me
find
neither. Yeah,
something.
me neither. Had to make one.
Yeah. Um,
And by the way, I want to show you what I have here.
oh nice.
Those are mirror image stickers. Uh, I sent one batch to Jay today,
Yeah.
and I sent them those as well. Oh,
Nice.
yeah, my camera is lower than I thought it's up on the screen like as usual, but no, this time I have one right there.
That's awesome.
Mm, yeah, and I sent those signed papers from the Bitcard store.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so happy about it, man. I'm really so happy about mm, like doing what it was meant to do uh, back since Satoshi introduced it, right? Like using it as cash, and I'm quite certain Jay won't have this pizza guy disappointment,
Right.
and also end and yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he will just be happy with.
He won't regret spending his Aragon because it'll be the same price that it always was when he comes back to it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the beauty of stability. You can enter and exit at the same point that you want to at any time. And Bitcoin is just like a big game of chicken where nobody wants to spend it because you lose out by spending it. So it's a paradox. uh, very
yeah.
very
It, there you
interesting
go.
how we got here, and now people want to use these speculative assets such as Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral to make stable currencies.
Yeah, as Paul said in the chat, he thinks that's a better design.
Why? I I've heard it from him. I've heard it from people at Nervos. People keep saying they think that Ergon is better as a built as a token on top, but I haven't heard an explanation why, other than some ambiguous claims about security. And
Yeah,
I don't
and
think they did any math to back up that assumption. They're just they're just using old school knowledge to assume that it's more secure to do it the Bitcoin way.
yeah, I think it's an ad hoc hypothesis, right? It's an ad hoc hypothesis, one created only to like to not change your beliefs. That this is the right way to do it, and coincidentally, it benefits you.
Yeah, yeah. It just happens to make you supremely rich for eternity.
Yeah,
Make all of your offspring supremely rich for eternity.
if
Um,
it works, right? If it works as you imagine it will, because well, that's not certain.
well, define work because fiat works. You know,
I mean, if it grows forever, because it might not.
it might, yeah, it might not, but like, it might for 50 years, and 50 years is a long time,
Yeah.
a really long time. And like, a lot of value can be sucked in and captured by these deflationary assets in 50 years. I mean, the, we're probably, if we want to talk about a singularity, it's probably in less than 50 years. So, um,
Yeah, maybe. I'm not so sure about singularity. I listened to that guy. What was his name? The French guy, Francois Cholet. He's the creator of Keras, which is a deep learning like framework, and he says that the efficiency of processing information is not like something that can just scale infinitely. It also follows like an S curve. You know that being more intelligent doesn't get you, like, I mean, being twice as intelligent doesn't get you to twice as big outcomes. Like, people are already processing information pretty efficiently, and we can get like 24 more percent of output, even if optimized for maximized infinity. And I kind of believe it, um, because you know, people actually, I mean, normal people can, non genius level people can understand what Einstein said, right? Like, we can understand what he said. We can understand what he the theories he created. We can understand what the smartest people on earth are doing. We can actually like create it from scratch, like those big theories, because that requires like immense processing power in your brain. But we can understand it pretty well. So I think that's not. I mean, even the genius level intelligence can't actually do the singularity. I think that. I mean, I believe this guy on this.
right.
So having like it will be closer to genius level human than something like a god, because people people sort of believe in those artificial intelligence as if they were gods. I don't think they can be gods.
Well, they can be artificial gods.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, not even that. I don't think it will be even that. I think it will be like a super genius human, but well, still human, still understandable by us, still like doing what scientists have been doing, just another participant, like a like a good dude at a university, who's brilliant to listen to, and like and has a lot of ideas, and we can build together with him, and that's it. I mean, it will be nice, but not a
Tobias is.
breaking change.
You see Tobias?
No,
No.
my video is off.
Oh,
So,
oh, hey,
hola, hola, chicas.
hey,
What's up?
nice to hear you, because not seeing you.
Yeah, I'm invisible.
That's fine.
I'm visible this time,
Yeah, someone needs to do it, right?
and I am further away from my phone, my microphone.
Yeah, it's much better now.
Yeah, I'm not that annoying. Maybe, hope so.
I left you a comment on the last episode. What do you say? Very punchable or something?
Yes,
Like, oh,
yes, yes. The moment I heard it, I thought, oh man, I would punch that guy.
Well, there you see the great restraint that me and William are showing you.
Yeah.
A true sacrifice. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about like the possibility of a or the lack of possibility for a singularity to uh emerge in the upcoming decades.
Yeah, like I'm not sure what'll happen with AI, but I know one thing for sure, that there will be a huge percentage of the population who will just completely give up everything in order to like spend all their time interacting with the AI, because it's just going to be so entertaining, so smart, so like it'll like just like you guys like movies, right? I like movies. Just imagine, and we're not far away from that, right? It'll take like maybe, I don't know, 5 years or something until an AI, like social media already knows like way better what you want than you want, than right? Like the suggestion algorithms are really, really good. So now imagine, instead of a suggestion algorithm giving you content that some schmo like you and I made on the internet, it's gonna just generate you content on the fly that fits your mood, your what you want right now, how you feel like, perfectly. It might even be conversational. It might not be, right? It could be anything. And I really, really don't see how anyone who's like in this current mindset could say like, actually, like I'm not gonna watch that. Like you really have to be super disciplined to say no to that, in my opinion. So I think that's the big danger of AI. Not that people want to like upload their consciousness or something. Maybe, but I think it's much clearer that like it's so much simpler. Like it'll just grab all your attention all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it eventually, like you say, like within 5 years, maybe even an AI will be able to write, produce, and develop the best movie you've ever seen in your life, and the movie will never end because it's being produced faster than you can even watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect.
I think I would abstain from that just so I wouldn't. I don't know. It's a really tough question because I do like being entertained, and when the world becomes overwhelmingly boring, you kind of you want to seek new things, but there is that part of me and that part of other people I believe exists where they want to cling on to the base reality so that they don't lose grip of what is real and what isn't.
But will you recognize when it starts happening? Because maybe it will be fed to you through the social media that you are already watching, and it will be gradually hooking you.
Yeah, it'll
Like
totally
maybe
be
you're watching
existing social
shorts
media.
on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
like I was last night I was like joining Twitter spaces of all of these really fun, cool, interesting people who were talking and they were all speaking my language. They were all being degens and unfiltered, not politically correct. And I'm like, wow, it's life is sort of becoming like a fantasy dream. Like, are these people even real or are they AI generated
Yeah. And
AI
imagine
can't
they were, right?
be politically incorrect. AI is very politically correct.
so far, or
Well,
the
at some
AI
point,
that we're
I
that
think at some point that'll change, Carol. Like this is just a current fluke, and
yeah.
I don't know what fluke means, but I think it matches. And I think in the future there will be platforms, because the technology is there, right? Like we have that. It's just that currently all the Google engineers and so forth, they're politically correct. So I think that'll change actually.
Yeah, I hope so, because otherwise the world will turn pretty grim, right? We talked about it in the chat that there is this very easy, um, very simple way of telling apart a person from a bot. It's enough to just ask them to say the N word, and you can distinguish.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's the thing.
well,
Is
I
I
mean, Carl, it's a little bit of a flawed test because, like, if you ask if you ask everyone, like, there will be like 90% of normal humans who will refuse to say the N word. So it's
Right,
a little
that
flaw in
is,
the test.
but in the future, probably if people know that, I mean, it's probably easy to program the AI to have a script kicking in and
Mhm.
answers instead of AI. So maybe it's not that great.
It's
But
not a great
like
test, but it's a really
asking,
fun test.
excuse me.
It's a really fun test. Right?
Yeah,
It
it's
makes you think.
always funny to ask someone, "Hey, prove you're not a Chat GPT. Say the N word."
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah, but
even I am struggling with that, and I like politically in favor of saying the N word.
Yeah,
what happens the second that AI can say the N word? That test
Right?
that test is gone,
Pavel
yeah,
is completely lost. Not
and you almost sort of you can fall for a trap quite easily because you're if you go into it assuming that AI can't say the N word and it can say
mm,
the N word, suddenly you're convinced that you're surrounded by real, authentic people, and
yeah, and
committing hate
like
crimes.
you can
Am I noisy, by the way?
would
what?
you repeat?
Am I noisy?
No.
No.
Okay, okay. Anyway, continue. I'm cooking.
Um, like you can still make it at the current AI, just have a script that kicks in when someone asks about it, right? It's probably easy to circumvent anyway. Um, but in my opinion, it's better to not have this test, because otherwise the only spaces that will be free of bots that will be like disruptive and only doing noise will be the racist spaces, and well, those spaces will grow stronger. Those spaces will grow in power, and well, we'll see much more of that in the world, because comparatively, those normal spaces will be overrun by bots.
Mm. Well, but
AI
Caro, do you know how
shields.
difficult it is to be a proper racist? You really need to know about so many different like skin tones. You need to know about different cultures. You need to know about different like cultural differences. Right? You need to know about like IQ differences. You need to know like so. It's like so much harder to be a racist than just be like a, oh, you know, I treat everybody equally. Everybody's the same fundamentally. You know, like it's really hard work to be a racist.
I don't know. I'm you know I mean I'm from Poland, so I don't have much of that problem. We don't have like a running social problem of
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know injustice. Poland never had any colonies, so we're not even a colonial country. I mean, we're not even a colonialist country. We're not imperialist, because uh, there were never territories abroad. Poland never had a single colony. Actually, at the time when colonialism was happening in the Europe and in the entire world, Poland wasn't even on the world map because we were colonized. We
That's true.
were, I don't know what's the word in English, but rozbiory. Poland was disassembled by mm, Austria, Russia, and Prussia. So we weren't even on the map. and like
How
our
can we be racist if we're not even on the map?
I mean, I mean, how can we be imperialist if we never had an empire, or we never profited from like extracting wealth from the colonies? So all this, like, white people are all colonialists. I mean, I'm white, and my ancestors never did that. My ancestors like never did that. And Tobias, half of your ancestors probably didn't either, right? Because you're half Pole, right?
Yeah, yes, because just to prove my lack of racism, because my history is super unracist. Is so my parents are, so my mother's side is from Silesia, right, and my dad's side is from South Germany, and both of them were only farmers, right, and farmers obviously can't be racist, so I'm cleared of that. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from
Yeah.
America, so
So you're racist. Nice to meet you.
we're racist. We have lots of racism everywhere all the time. But it's it's been fascinating to me. Like even in the past 24 hours, just because I hopped on a few, like I was talking to Licho earlier about this, but I was hopping on a few of the calls with more youthful um crypto users. So like users that are in their early 20s, which is to me is ridiculously young because when I got into crypto, I was probably like 19 and the oldest the my peers were all in their mid 30s. So
Okay.
seeing all these young people in crypto um gave
Well,
me
it's interesting because you're in the same age bracket as they, right? Or was in the same age bracket when you discovered it.
yeah. And it's just it's I kind of like forgot that people are turning, people are coming of age every year after me, and I wasn't paying attention to the people. I wasn't paying attention to that younger generation. I was so focused on impressing the generation that I was a part of that I lost sight of the incoming generation. And the incoming generation is just extremely based, and they they say whatever they want. And it's like this new theory I have about in America, the young generation has like this plausible deniability against racism because everyone is saying the N-word. So if everyone's saying it, nobody can be called racist because everyone's being racist. Everyone's saying racist shit. And my
Oh, I see.
in
That's
my
genius.
generation, the people who are like now approaching their 30s, um, they're still to this day afraid of saying the N word because they don't want to lose their jobs, right? And what I'm saying is
Oh, the younger generation doesn't have
the
any
younger
jobs.
generation, everyone already has said the N word, so it's like no one can lose their job because no one would be able to be hired if they made that the standard. So it's like it's polar opposites that I've been dealing with, and I just I noticed that the younger generation is much freer in their language because I was in these calls last night with like college students, and they were literally just saying like they were like these 20-year-olds white chicks were just saying like we're just calling black people niggies in the chat. And I'm like, no one from my generation would have ever said that in a million years because they wanted to keep their career intact. But now this future generation doesn't give a fuck about that about political correctness and stuff
Or
like
it's like blowback from
yeah
like the wokes.
it's
And
major blowback, and it has nothing to do with
it's a huge white pill in my opinion.
it's a huge white pill. That's why I wanted to like hop on the call today because like I just
Just to say the N word, just to say it,
no, just
just
because
a
I was
safe
so
space.
I was so excited about the future generation of crypto people and who we can bring into Ergon, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all these people came in from the wave of NFTs and Ethereum and stuff like that. So like Bitcoin OGs like us are like dinosaurs to them. Like we're like ancient legends of lore. And they're just like they're born into crypto. Like it's not a matter of whether you're into crypto or not into crypto. Everyone's trading NFTs. Everyone who wants to make money is like swing trading crypto assets and NFTs and stuff like that. It's just like it's literally embedded into the culture at this point.
Wow.
Everyone's gambling tendencies go straight to crypto.
Wow.
Oh, and Ergon is an anagram of Negor.
Right. Uh, uh, how was he called? This time, Terrachat. He's now. I mean, he was Dream Trove. What's his name now? Jack Novak. Okay, Jack Novak. So Jack wanted to create an opposite coin to Ergon, like one that would shrink the reward um, when the hash rate is growing,
So like a good Ponzi,
and call it. Could you repeat?
like an intentional Ponzi.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
and
worse
wanted
than
to call
Bitcoin.
it with the anagram.
As the hash rate grows, the reward shrinks. That's his idea.
And what
Yeah,
was this
terrible, isn't
proposed
it?
name?
And his proposed name was the anagram, right?
Oh,
It's a fun idea. I mean,
Nogre.
no gray.
no grid.
I
Oh,
love that
that one.
though.
Yeah.
I want people to come in and have fun with the Ergon mechanics and maybe introduce some like polar mechanics to balance it out, you know, so that there's not just a peer-to-peer cash, but there's the anti-Bitcoin that people can get into on Ergon.
Mm.
I guess, do you hear William?
Yup.
Am I being noisy? 'Cause I mean,
What's wrong? What's up, Licho?
I'm good.
I think you're having problems.
Yeah, Carol, you're having problems.
While he figures that out, did you see Paul commenting on the chat how he's like pivoting off of Nexa to do some other coin?
I've seen his one message. It was Paul, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's yeah, I don't know too much about Nexa, to be honest. I just heard they had a few changes, like open.
It was just a scaling thing for
Hey.
Oh, really? Welcome back.
Yeah, I think my internet
you're good.
broke.
It's a little
Yeah.
Polish. It's okay.
We didn't really skip a beat, so you're fine. We were just talking about Paul and his new idea, his new $1 billion idea. So one of my friends,
Definable stablecoin or whatever.
a close friend of mine said he basically abandoned the Nexa project. To pursue this new one.
Yeah,
I wonder what's there.
I mean that's like I don't know what it is, but I just want to say that what I admire about Karol, like he really stuck through with Ergon till now, even though it was like pretty like boring initially and nothing happened. And that in these days where like something flashy, new and exciting appears all the time,
Yeah.
Ergon is just like actually like pretty boring. I mean, you know, like if you look at the diff file, there's not a lot there, right? Like it just changes the formula. Then yeah, it takes some dedication to just be like, no, like I'll stick with this because I know it's the right thing and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have that tendency for sure, like just, oh look, they're shining a thing. I focus all my attention on that.
Yeah, there's people who will just like, they'll do one ICO and then the coin pumps and dumps and then they move on to the next ICO.
Yeah.
Then Lisho just stayed here and kept running Ergon. No,
Yeah.
no pre-mine, no ICO, no deep capital, nothing.
Yeah, I just want to, earn in terms of this. I want to like have a steady income denominated in Ergon, and I want to spend it directly in Ergon, and
Well,
that's my goal, and that's what I've
well,
been
do you work on
pursuing.
Ergon for ideological reasons or more like practical reasons? Because you're like, well, I know that if I keep saying the N word, then I really need to have peer-to-peer electronic cash where I can't be banned.
Yeah,
Or is it
I
kind of like both?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Hard to tell. Uh,
Or you're just obsessed and you can't say no. Like it's like Ergon is like you just got taken over and you have no say in that anymore.
I have nothing to say. I think um, hmm, I think it's half ideological and the other half is practical. I want to have I want to have it around me. I want to onboard my village to it. I want to buy stuff with it, use it in everyday life, and well, I know Polish zloty will get its well, maybe its exit scam one day. Um, maybe like a prepper mentality a bit. But I want to not have to have a bank account uh, to do transactions on the internet. And right now, if you do this with crypto, it's not adopted directly anywhere because people use those auto exchanging payment processors. Otherwise, it's just insane to use crypto without an auto exchange payment processor.
Yeah.
And a payment
Yeah.
auto exchange payment processors, they are literally third parties in the middle of your transaction.
The financial
And
institutions, yeah.
yeah, there are those financial institutions mentioned in the Bitcoin white paper.
Like let me talk on that because I did the electronic cash conference, which by the way, Carlo, the next one you'll be there. I'll count on you.
Yeah.
And the first one I accepted different currencies. I think Bitcoin Cash, BTC, and some others. Only those that I liked. And I was, being ideological, right? I was like, okay, let me take them all directly to my wallet. And that worked fine actually, but it was so much work, right? Like I had to then convert it to USDT or whatever, and in order to like have the coin stable and stuff. Because a lot of my invoices were in USDT. Most of them, of course, were in like normal bank money, because hotels, for some reason, they don't want to accept USDT or even any crypto. But that worked okay, so I had to convert that. But what I figured is that so I used coinpayments, coinpayments.net, they're really easy to integrate and stuff, but they are a financial institution, right? So I had to do KYC, I had to do all the things just to basically accept crypto. Like they didn't do too much, to be honest. They did allow conversions if I wanted to between different tokens. But yeah, they did that. They held custody if I wanted to. And in the US, I think coin payments is completely banned. I think they have having huge issues. So that for me was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is
Like
exactly
way
what was
stronger.
not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And right now, what you can do? What you can use Bitcard, and it will integrate you loads of cryptocurrencies on a self-hosted or like third-party hosted, but it's still not custodial because you don't have auto exchanging. You just put your extended public key. So you can use the you can enter Bitcard
DM
minus
that to me.
admin .ergon.network, and you can use my instance and use Ergon to process your transactions easily.
Because I tried setting that up a while ago.
Yeah.
And someone recommended me what is a BTC Pay server. And this is just such a complicated thing. Like, we went on like SSH sessions. I just, all right, enter this command. Enter this. All right, let's do this. Okay, you know, you need to set up this server. Now you need to set up this server. Like, this is so complicated. I just want to accept transactions, right? Like just like give me a transaction and tell me if it's valid or not and what's the amount, basically. And this shouldn't be difficult. So yeah, send me the Bitcard thing. Maybe I'll use it for the next or like for something conference like or so. I don't know.
Okay, bitcard.ai. It's bitcard.ai. I'm not sure why Alexei used that. And if you want my instance at Ergon Network, it only supports Ergon. But well, it's something. So it's bitcard minus admin.ergon.network.
Nice.
Dude, I love this premium, cool. the premium Zoom stuff.
What the hell?
No.
All the features. Look, if I need to do something off screen, I can just switch to an avatar and do whatever I need to do.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Oh, like, did you know, like Cheap Lightning from BCH?
Yes. He's a cat.
He's always a cat. He is actually such a cool guy. I think we had a little bit of a falling out because of the BCH eCash thing. But I was his guest in Japan. Like, he hosted me to stay at his place. That was really cool. And he had like a real arcade machine with a like that took like, I don't know, yen or something, or yeah. And he showed it to me, and I was like, wow, you guys are a maniac. Oh, and also my my display, my computer display broke from my laptop, and that was very tragic. And he, like a GigaChat, helped me repair it. And yeah, so I'll be forever grateful for Ryan, for that cat in the chat.
You think there's
his business is I think he's selling old games like the antiques.
True. Now I recall. Yeah.
Are there some Bitcoin Cash people that we could slot onto these calls?
Poach.
Yeah.
I talked about Ergon with a Bitcoin Cash podcast. Maybe he can join us here. Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy Engelman, I think. His Bitcoin Cash podcast on Twitter.
Okay.
And he probably visit us here.
Mm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you should schedule stuff with people.
Oh yeah, I'm working on it. I got a few people scheduled already. I'm just trying to branch out to as many as possible from the start.
Some.
I mean, this was just this was totally random. I just asked Licho if he could get on camera real quick, and we planned to do it at like 20 minutes from now, but instead we did it an hour ago. So we
Um,
we're
Oh,
I
eager
sorry for
think,
the noise.
we're eager to talk about Ergon though.
yeah, I think we could invite Emergent Reasons.
Mm. Yeah.
Emergent is a great dude, and
He's
he
incredible.
actually was the first guy I did real world transaction. He bought some Ergons from me, like the pizza moment. I think
Mm.
second and third or third day, he sent me Bitcoin cash for some Ergons, and tell me to buy pizza for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he ordered him some pizza from Poland. That's incredible.
You know who I really want to get on is the Bitcoin Cash autist
Yeah.
Mm.
because he's so freaking smart that I want to know what his angle is. I'm like, if you're so smart, why aren't you just building on Aragon? Because Aragon obviously makes more sense.
He's the one I learned this saying from system design we talked about
Yeah,
last time.
But
I
it's
heard
been
that
going
from him.
going around on the internet up and down. I've seen it a lot, even outside of the outside of like mostly actually political people. Like, you know, I'm surrounded by people who believe all kinds of have all kinds of political ideologies, from like anarchists to
Yeah.
like monarchists, and some I don't know if I have any Democrat friends anymore, but there must be some somewhere.
Mhm.
But yeah, with Democrat I mean people who are in favor of democracy, not like the political party in America. I don't think I have anyone in my friend group that's in favor of the Democratic Party. But,
Democratic
anyway,
Party, for which Democratic Party?
yeah, exactly, right.
I mean,
I mean
you
no, I mean the
the American one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
The American Democratic Party. I don't
Am I
even,
right?
it's not that I don't have friends that aren't in it. I don't know anyone who's, well, I should rescind that. Okay. The people I talk to, the people I associate with, none of them are gonna vote Democratic for the for the Democratic Party in 2024.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know one guy. Yeah, I met him in Korea, but I don't know if I can consider him a friend because like we haven't spoken since
Yeah,
years.
but our country's having a big problem where, and I see this again and again. Like in my family, for example, half of the family is voting for Democrats and half of the family is voting for Republican, and it always feels like they're just they're just intentionally splitting up our family.
Mm.
I'm like, you're putting it on
Yeah,
you're putting
I
it
don't even
on
care.
paper that
Like,
there's division within the family, and
yeah,
I don't understand why people don't see a problem with that. Like I I
well, it's
get
intentional.
I get that people want to go like, oh, well, everyone can have their own opinions, yada yada, but you want your family to be together and united and going in the same direction. So pulling in opposite directions the way they do in America
Yeah, it's
is
divide and conquer. I
it's divide
actually
and
like
conquer. It's yeah, it is divide and conquer.
if I met like a diehard Democrat, I probably would find the conversation much more interesting if I can talk to them in the same way. Than with a Republican, because like with a Republican, I'm not going to learn anything, right? Like they, like if you are like if you are a Republican, then I kind of get why you're doing that, right? You're like kind of doing damage control and stuff like that. But when you're a Democrat, like your worldview is so fundamentally different from mine that like this will be an extremely interesting conversation to have. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like I don't like I really don't like this tribalism, this
Yeah, I don't
people
pick
just getting so
tribes.
mad at yeah.
I
Yeah,
actually I make my family, like, I try to get them to get along. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. The
I
most
yeah,
valuable
same.
thing.
Yo, guys, you gotta stop arguing about, like, yeah, petty stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
we need some
I mean,
alignment.
I would probably vote for Trump, not because I like his political opinions. I actually don't like most of them. And he kind of was the vaccine merchant and stuff. But it's just so funny. He is so funny. I cannot like I don't know how this is possible. How we got Donald Trump, who's just so witty
He's hilarious.
and hilarious, and like you just watch his rallies. His debates are a little like he's being a little annoying there, I think.
Yeah.
But his rallies, he's just so funny. So I totally get like I'm politically in favor of funny, so that's why I probably would vote for Trump. Yeah.
Well, I'm in favor of just I like a sense of nationalism where you protect your own before you try to expand your borders and help
Mm.
other people and stuff like that. And that's what Trump represents, is despite all of the tabloids and the political attacks about him being racist or whatever, um, you have these tangible aspects of Trump, such as his ability to conduct business in a way that makes America's industries profitable. And
Mm.
people want to make profit and they want to succeed. And, like, success is what is going to bring us together. At the end of the day, we we can debate about this and that, but we need to succeed at bringing food to the table, at getting people a living wage and stuff like that. And Trump has always been way better at that than the opposition. His opposition has always been about selling us out, weakening our infrastructure, weakening our manufacturing, weakening our energy, um, weakening basically weakening everything so that China can control us.
I am
Yeah,
fortunate.
I
To,
guess. Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
fortunate to have very non. I mean, peaceful. I have a very peaceful attitude. I just tell uh, like the family members or friends who have different opinions about the politics. Um, I just say, meh. I think both sides suck, and everyone is much more accepting to that than if I supported any side. Like if
Yeah.
I mean, I do say that that people that they support are corrupt and smell, but they don't mind as long as I don't support the opposite side.
Yeah.
So being a centrist anarchist, like I'm not neither left wing nor right wing.
Yeah,
I'm essentially like, okay, I like free markets. I don't like exploitation
yeah,
by corporations. So that's kind of lefty. Free markets
yeah.
people associate with righty. So okay,
Mm.
That's
I'm a centrist. So
that's the
Mm.
situation that we're in America right now. Is Trump is the centrist of this argument. Uh, he doesn't care about parties at all. Like, he's been in and out of both parties. He's been loved and hated by both parties at different points in his life, and he just wants America itself as a nation to succeed. So he's very
Well, I mean,
the centrist choice.
like I support Trump, but I think that that's a little bit naive. I don't want to like trash your opinion. I think that Trump
Okay.
first and foremost cares about Trump. That like he really likes Trump, and
Yeah.
like makes sure that everything's all right there. I mean, he does believe in America and everything. Like that's definitely the case. But the opposition is like really strong. Like we saw that with Trump mugshot and so forth. He is being like hurt by the opposition. But I wouldn't just like I wouldn't like subscribe to like, oh, he really just cares about America. He's like that's all he cares about. Yeah, like it's like surprisingly strong. Like considering he's a politician, it's like very unusual for him to care so much about America. But I think there's a lot of self-interest there as well, and that's fine, right? But I think we need to be aware of that. I mean, I personally, my favorite politician, if you could call him that, is Hans Adam II von und zu Liechtenstein, our current monarch here in Liechtenstein, and he really cares about this country. I think, I don't know, and I actually like people really like Hans Adam II because he's borderline libertarian, like he's economically very much a libertarian, and wanted to study physics and stuff. Wink, wink, Licho. But then his father was like, "No, you're going to study economics," and he did, and then he kind of applied some of those things. Because you guys have to keep in mind, like Liechtenstein used to be like a really like a shithole country, right? There's nothing there. It was so uninteresting that like it was able to survive for like 300 years without ever changing its border. But then after World War II, they really became rich. And like depending, like if you miscount, right, because there's so many foreigners here, but if you just miscount, then it is technically the number one country by GDP per capita. And yeah, and I mean, personally, as a libertarian, I always was like, yeah, like I think the most effective governing system is the family business.
Yeah.
It is something that is run like that, and yeah, this is how this country is run. It is a family business, and yeah, that's my take on the entire thing.
And that's good. That's good. Like having someone in your nation who is for the family business and trying to promote the family business on a global scale is someone who's in your corner, you know, whether you like it or not. Whether you agree with them or not, whether they're a good person or not, they have aligned interests with you because they're on the same soil as you. They have the same benefits as you. So when they win, you win, basically.
Yeah,
and that's
it is
why
a little bit worrying because the younger prince, he's a little woke, a little bit, right? Like he's still quite good, not, but you never know, like with the climate change stuff and so forth. But you never know where things are going because like the incentives still apply, right? Like that's like the argument for, because I'm in favor of a monarchy. That's partially why I moved here. One argument in favor of a monarchy is that like you just have these very strong incentives to take care of the country, right? Because like if you screw up, then like it's kind of dumb because like you screwed this country that was given to you for like kind of screw yourself because you were given this country. But in a democracy, like if you don't screw the country, then you're the idiot, right? Like Trump is kind of being retarded by being in favor of America, right? Like if he was a smart politician and a proper politician and a true politician, then we'd completely screw America over, fill his pockets as much as possible, and then I don't know, live on an island somewhere far away or something. And but he doesn't do that, which is really against his interest. But he just apparently cares about America so much that he does do that.
Why do you think he doesn't? Do you remember Like I know you are. I mean, I know which side you are on this conflict, like the vaccines. He was the one enforcing that. So
Well,
right,
he was not really enforcing it.
I mean, wasn't he?
Well, he
But
took
he was
charge.
like really selling it as like the panacea
Yeah.
for an
Yeah.
entire thing.
I
But
mean, he
it wasn't really putting mandates in place as far as I know.
he closed the businesses and so on. He did all of the stuff that the entire world was doing. So I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I don't think.
not for the vaccine. But I mean, I get your point that or what is your point? Maybe I don't want to like misrepresent that.
My point is that nobody in politics is good. This is what I usually say,
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
that they don't represent nations, countries. They represent the deep state. They represent like the corporations, because corporations benefiting from state protection are essentially like just a wing
So my
of
theory
government.
is I mean 100% agree, right? Like we're completely on the same page there. So
Yeah,
for you and I, when I tell you this stuff about Trump, you're like, well, that doesn't fit, right? It doesn't make sense. Like Trump should be exploiting, and Trump should be stealing from the population and
I
leaving
mean,
it
isn't
in
he? How do you
ruins.
know he isn't doing that?
He's losing his
Um,
money.
But
well,
are you sure
I have
about it? Maybe he's got like shell companies somewhere,
Yeah,
and he's. I don't think.
for
I
sure.
don't
But his
think he
biggest
does.
assets, his biggest assets are the ones that's taking the
well,
hit.
here's some data
So
because
I need some like proof that that the
like
shell companies are
like
there.
Trump, so. This is always like very hard to prove, right? But I'm just going off the data that we do have, because otherwise, like we would get nowhere if we're just like, oh, you never know if you know whatever.
I mean,
But
yeah,
it is
it is like the elephant that is
so
hiding on a tree.
here's some piece here's some pieces of data. So first of all, Trump is a huge egomaniac, right? Like we know that nobody denies that. The biggest Trump supporters, the biggest Trump haters all agree that
Yeah.
Trump has a huge ego. Trump would never want to have his net worth hidden in some shell company so that he can never brag about it, right? That is the truth. That is, I think, for me, is a huge point. He's getting old. He wants to show off, and I think that is the major motivation behind Trump. He is Trump. He wants to be the one that made America great again, right? It's not just that that the country becomes big and successful. The country should become big and successful because of Trump, right? Like he should be the one that sweeps in and saves the day, which
Yeah, he wants
are
credit.
yeah, exactly. Which, in my opinion, that's much better than what most politicians want. It's also very dangerous because, like, then if he screws up, he could screw up big time because he's no longer following incentives, right? At least politicians, they will screw over a country in a relatively predictable way. But from what I've seen, right, like, and I don't pay too much attention there. He really does it because he likes the country. Because during his presidency, I think he lost like $1 billion of net worth, right? Which again, from the Trump mindset, that is a huge blow to his ego, right? He, of course, now he can already since he's like the president, he's like, well, I did it as a sacrifice for my country or something. And yeah, anyway, I'm getting a call in, but you guys can take it from there.
Oh, you're leaving?
I think he just muted and took his phone. Oh
Oh,
no, he left.
oh no.
Oh
I
no.
love Tobias. I hate it when he leaves.
Uh,
That's fine. 1 second, I'm switching back to my regular face. Here. Um,
yeah, we went political.
yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Um, what do you think about combining AI and crypto?
Oh, yeah, deep breath. I think they are completely separate technologies, and the way I see combining them together is like paying your for your API keys with Ergon.
Yeah, isn't
Yeah,
it? Isn't it?
basically using money on the internet to
Yeah,
get things related to AI.
yeah, and to like make it fast and instant and immutable.
Yeah,
These AIs can coordinate trustlessly
yeah,
without economic borders or any of that. So it's they both seem to be like strengths that lend themselves to each other.
yeah. So just like using one for another, or another for one, uh, like according to their purpose. And I don't think we have it solved to actually have a distributed computing within the AI. I mean, trustless distributed computing. Like you can't really train an AI with like and reward with the people with tokens who contribute without a centralized party. You can't have a proof of work based on the training on the data, because that kills the incentives. Right? It's like with those 2018 ideas that were very common to, well, use all this wasted hashing power for something useful. It's wasted. We know that it's not wasted, and it has to be this way. The way hashing works means that this energy shouldn't be used for anything else than finding that truth, because otherwise you have external incentives and everything breaks. So you can have this as POW, right? Mm, you, I don't think anyone figured out how to like make the actual decentralized training. I know there are distributed ways, but not decentralized uh, in the way Bitcoin is decentralized, like not trustless. Mm, mm, there are data anonymization techniques to not reveal the training data, but that's more of an application for hospitals not wanting to reveal their patients' data that might be confidential, but still use them to train um, the AI. So yeah, so I don't think anything from crypto is readily applicable to AI.
Okay.
Not much applicable from AI applicable to crypto. They can just like function, you know, with their intended uh, area of application.
Well, what about the proposition that crypto or Bitcoin or blockchain itself is artificial intelligence? It's it's a reward system. It's a self-sustaining reward system that accumulates hash and wealth and grows its own network
I mean, it is a
on,
network, but it's not a neural network. It is a network, but it's not a neural network, right? So it doesn't do any statistics in that sense. I mean, what the neural networks do is they produce some outputs based on. I mean, it does do statistics, but it's not a generative AI for sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of a fungus mycelium than a neural network, right? Uh,
Oh, have you ever did I love that analogy. Did you ever read the mycelium of money?
no,
No. It was a good paper about Bitcoin being like mycelium, basically.
really, I thought that was my idea.
No, I can send it to you.
Oh, sure, I'd love it. I would really love to see it because that resonates with me. I was even talking about it on a podcast once.
Here, I got the link already. I'll send it to you right now.
Huh? There is something about the neural networks. Nice, nice. I'll read it later with more focus.
Yeah, you know who sent it to me is
Cool.
my friend who um is a clandestine chemist
Mhm.
anonymously. He grows psychedelic mushrooms, and
Nice.
he sent me that when he first started getting into Bitcoin because he saw the
When
similarities between mushrooms and Bitcoin.
nice. When was it published? I don't see any date here.
The published date of the article
Yeah.
um, might be at the bottom. No,
No.
well, it's at least 3 years old of an idea.
I see.
I
I see.
remember it's been around for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. But cool. I have to read it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely something to check out. I gotta turn
Yeah.
off the light. The the night is coming.
Hello, I'm back.
Hey.
Yo, hey, thanks for coming back.
So did you? I mean, I'm eating actually something like Silesian um from my grandma. She made it a while ago, and I felt like it tonight, so I'm eating it.
You want to
Cool.
stream your handsome face so we can get some more views?
Sure. Here we go. Isn't that amazing, right? You
Thank
can
you.
see my pot and my hairline.
Yeah, your hairline. That's funny.
Because here you can see the amazing food. Where is it? Can I swap that around? Yeah, there we can. Here, that's the. I mean, it looks not great on camera, but in real life it looks good. And that's the I don't know how you call it in Silesian, but that's the food. Bonjour.
All that matters is how it tastes.
It tastes good. Yeah, it's like meat wrapped in other meat, which is typically German,
Yeah.
and onions and quite a bit of mustard actually. I like mustard.
Today I had a stromboli, which is an Italian.
Are you Italian or like Italian heritage?
Yep, I'm Italian, Irish, and German.
Hmm, it's a good mix.
Yeah, and there's a
Nice.
little
Some two
this
one
questionable.
one parts freedom, two parts fascist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I had a wild upbringing, that's for sure. But an American immigrant, you know what I mean? My
Mm.
my grandparents came over through like Ellis Island
Mm.
to
Wow.
immigrate to America. So
I love these stories.
so we're the whiteys, the whitey immigrants, the Guidos, the the Italians, the Irish. We all mix together, and I'm the product of that.
Yeah,
I'm,
that's
I'm
good.
not. I'm not. I'm not a English nobleman. You know what I mean? In England,
You're not Sir William the Second of his name.
I'm an Irish mutt, basically.
You're a potato.
I'm a potato. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you shouldn't bring up potatoes in the vicinity of Irish, otherwise they get Vietnam flashbacks from the
From the
potato
famine.
famine.
Yeah. Yeah, they would like educate us on the famine when we grew up in the
Hmm.
schools. The schools would like it was like mandated reading to learn about the potato famine in Ireland.
Oh no. Did the people figure out what happened? Was it like it was like a virus or something, right?
Yeah, it was a plague that made like that rotted all the potatoes to make them
Hmm.
black, and they just died out. Um, and
Now we have the same thing, but with people. Like people just their brains just rot.
yeah. We were talking about uh, the the differentials between crypto and AI because
Hmm.
because blockchain isn't a neural network.
Hmm. Well, there. Do you guys know Ted Kaczynski?
Yeah, the mathematician who did some killing,
Yeah,
bombing.
he did mail bombs, the Una bomber.
Yeah, Una Bomber. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
Ted Kaczynski. Yeah.
Yeah, I say Ted Kaczynski because, like, I mean, Carol can explain why. I'd
Yeah,
rather just
Kaczynski is Polish last name,
I know
yeah,
that
it's a
guy. I know him very well.
and we have a politician. I mean, he was like the gray eminent. I mean, the shadow master of Poland for the last 8 years.
nice.
Kaczynski.
How many mail bombs did he send?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I
Three.
don't know, but he's pretty like a brutal guy.
So it must have been more than zero. Okay, so he's definitely a good namesake of Ted Kaczynski.
The
Yeah,
Unabomber.
so
You've read his manifesto?
No, but I heard it's good.
Oh,
yeah,
it's so good, dude.
so
It's like
good.
it
It's and it's like
summarizes
super
the past.
based.
It summarizes the 2000s basically.
But I mean, like just to clarify, his description is like so spot on, and he's like he has like a thing with words, like because he's probably a little bit autistic. I'm not sure, but like
Oh yeah.
he's really good with words, right? So you can just say things that like for us sound like super based, right? But for him, this is just like a mathematical thing, right? Like no, like this is the truth, right? Like the left are like domesticated animals or something, right? Stuff like that, and he can explain why and so forth. But what I really think is not good is his prescription, right? So he's like, oh, technology is like so bad, like it makes us like it reduces freedom, right? Like in the previous days you could just have like a piece of land and you were free, right? You could do whatever you want basically. Because like there was just no technological enforcement mechanism and so forth. But now we have so much technology, right? So the state can do so much enforcement, like it can issue so many laws that it can just reach into your life. But then his prescription is kind of like, okay, well, so now we just need to have like a big revolution where we get rid of all technology or something. Like, okay,
What?
what?
Will we get rid of all technology? That was his
Yeah.
conclusion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he wanted to be an Amish person basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
except
he
he was
could.
except he was a staunch atheist. Oh, he's dead now, by the way. Yeah, it's a fun fact.
He
But only recently,
what'd
like
you
a
say,
year ago.
Tobias?
So. On a year ago or so, he died.
He died?
Mm-hmm. He's dead.
Oh man, that sucks.
Right.
My friend and I, my best friend and I, we grew up reading his manifesto, like in high school.
Really?
Yeah, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever, and we made this pact. We made this pact that we would go visit him in prison and talk to him.
You
Why
did
didn't
that?
you do it?
But yeah, but I didn't know he died.
Yeah, you won't be able to meet him now.
That's sad. I wanted because what I wanted to do is I wanted to get his opinion on crypto.
Mm. Yeah, I think he would just by default be against it because like he's a boomer, right? Like I don't think he gets cryptography and stuff. And I
I
mean,
mean,
would
he would
probably.
probably think that it will be used against people,
Mm.
as it's actually being done with
Close to the mic again.
CBDCs, right?
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think that crypto is the only, and like proper crypto, right? Like Bitcoin, like Ergon, it's the only technology that cannot be used by the government to control people.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI is the total opposite, right? Like AI will be the biggest oppression tool we've seen in a while, and people have to be like you'll have to be like
Well, AI
super
plus
duper deliberate in order to use AI properly without it enslaving you, in my opinion.
AI plus Bitcoin is a big concern of mine. Both very good enslavement tools.
Oh, you mean Bitcoin BTC or?
BTC, yeah, and
Mm.
combining them.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, I kind of like I don't really see much in Bitcoin other than like there's two things. There's people who just wanna have like fantasies of becoming rich, and then there's crypto bros that get really obsessed with Lightning Network and but don't really have any sense of product, right? They just want to do something that's cool, but they don't really see as an entrepreneur, they see as a techie, and I don't really see too much future there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin will be unusable by masses, so all the dangers that come from I mean, it's just banking 2.0 with custodial solutions, so it's not much worse than what we have now,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, it's just like it's just an extension of banking. Like you say, banking 2.0. It's an extension of that grift because the early adopters hold all the coins
Yeah.
and they hold all the liquidity. So they're the gatekeepers of the economy.
Well,
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
like about like I think that banking 2.0 could be much worse than what we have right now because like I mean the current banking is still really bad because like whenever I do like a bigger transaction, my bank calls me, right? It's like, okay, well, did you authorize that transaction and stuff? And I'm like, well, how about you go F your or whatever? Like, I kind of want to say that, but I just am like, yeah, no, I did authorize that transaction. Like, okay, yeah, we just need to check. Sometimes they don't even say that, okay, but that's fine. And but what I like about that is that like there's still a human in the loop, and it's not like just some automated algorithm that just makes decisions. And if I fall under the radar, then I'm toast, right? There's always a human that is like, oh yeah, I get it, yeah, that makes total sense. Let me talk to my superior or something. And if you just have like like a Lightning network that just is completely autonomous, but it's like super duper custodial, then there's not going to be any of that, right? There's probably not even going to be like a hotline that you can call or something, and if there is, then it's going to be like super duper annoying. It's going to be 90% automated and stuff like that. So that's what I like about the old banking system, right? Oh, I always say that. Yeah. Like I'm giving this lesson in giving this oops giving this lesson in Bitcoin sometimes, It's based on Bitcoin Mystery School from Vin, but I make my own one, Bitcoin Journeyman School. And in there, like the difference between the financial system and the and Bitcoin is that in Bitcoin everything is cryptography, right? Like so you don't need to have any trust, but in our current banking system, everything is trust, right? Like the second you step into a bank, up until the payment is received at the like the guy you sent the money to, you take the money from the ATM, you have like only trust. Like there's nothing other than trust there. There's nothing where you can just be like, oh no, that's gonna happen automatically, right? Like there's no reason to like think about it. No, like you have to trust every single step along the way, and that is why we have to have so many regulations, right? Like this is just a natural conclusion, right? Like if you have to trust every single person along the chain, what you're gonna do except set like really tight regulations where like nobody can screw up because it's so complicated and so strict and so so regulated, and that also means that with Bitcoin, if done properly, if done in a decentralized way, since you don't have to trust anyone, you don't need all of these regulations, right? They're just completely in the way because like the system handles it itself, and that's I think one of the most exciting things in Bitcoin, because like you guys are okay, well, yeah, it makes sense. There's a lot of regulations, but this regulation accumulated over like 700 years or so, right? So like if we just undo this one thing that grew over 700 years, that's like a monumental change. That is such a big change in the history of us of people that I'm really I'm really curious where this will go. Thanks for my TED talk. Thanks for listening to my TED talk. Sorry.
I wanted to comment that I doubt that this is going to happen ever. Like, don't think that even if Lighting takes off, it will be in the custodial way, because the non-custodial way just doesn't make sense.
With Bitcoin, I mean just like Ergon, Cash, Bitcoin Cash, right?
Oh yeah.
That's the idea.
Okay, yeah, okay, I understand now. Yeah. Hopefully non-custodially, because custodial actually just replicates the old system.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it does. I think that's the big error that a lot of Bitcoiners are making. I think, let's say a CBDC. I think a CBDC is a fundamentally different beast than the old banking system. I think it is much worse. If currently Bitcoiners, it seems like they're just working on like the biggest project they're working on is the CBDC, right? Like there's nothing like it's kind of really ironic. Because like I show this over and over again, right? Like the first two names on the CBDC technical paper, right? Like this is a proper paper with research. This is not a white paper, right? This is a thing that actually. So it's just type OpenCBDC into Google, and the first thing that shows up should be the thing, and then go to the technical paper. I think they call it technical white paper. But it's a research paper. It's a proper research paper with everything that like Carol will know what a research paper is, right? Like with tests, with data, with descriptions, with all the things that you need. The first two names on that are Bitcoiners, right? Like it's James Lovejoy, one of the first people talking about Bitcoin at MIT, a big supporter, and the second one is Corey Fields, right? Like the last time I checked, number 11 of the contributors to the Bitcoin Core software, right? Like he's the brainiac behind Bitcoin, and it's terrible, right? Like it's just selling out.
Yeah, I want to share the screen and show this paper.
But no permission. William, give this man authority.
I don't know how, but he has to ask for it?
No, you have to go to settings and then allow people to share. You have to give the permission. And there's no way to ask.
I can't share my screen right now, can I?
Zoom preferences.
No, you have to go on this. Like, are you on a computer or on a phone?
I'm on my laptop.
Yeah, then go to this shield icon, and that says security or something. And then if there should be a checkbox for allow participants to share screen.
I could feed my screen to my virtual device camera. I'm
hacker.
using V4. V4L2 loopback virtual device. So
What a hacker! But yeah, did you find it, William? William is a
Wait,
bit of a boomer.
I mean, I am. I'm in the security settings overview.
Yeah, it should just be
What's the
one
title?
of the icons in the bottom of the meeting.
Oh, in the meeting.
Yeah,
Under
in the meeting,
under
just like a
more.
shield.
Oh, I was clicking at the top right corner.
Yeah, you were being a boomer.
Yeah, dude, I I am a boomer. Okay, which one is it? Enable.
The one that says enable screen share. It's one of the few things that by default isn't checked. It's probably better so, because that probably would some bad things.
It's all enabled. Allow participants to share screen. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. Then, Carol, you should be able to share now.
it already was enabled.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Well,
So
then maybe Carol is the real boomer.
Yeah, Carol, you're the boomer.
yeah, I'm probably just to Linux for that.
Mm.
And also I'm using Wayland, so I might not be able to do that.
Well,
So
sharing
I can
screen
share my screen.
right in the
I'm
middle.
clicking that and nothing happens.
Boy,
So here we go. That's my broadcast.
Yeah,
Hello,
you're
hello.
sharing your
So
screen,
let's see
so
up
it's
here.
possible, but
It's Bitcoin.
it's probably my graphics display. It can't do that. No worries. I'll just feed a screenshot onto my camera.
No, I figured out. You guys can see that, right? You guys should be able to see my screen.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
have the
so
paper here.
that's
Yeah.
the paper.
All right, that was
Really-
faster.
Really brilliant work. So James Lovejoy, because it's always very important to talk about the people. Big BTC maxi, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure if he would completely subscribe to that, but like a big Bitcoin supporter. Corey Fields, number like one of the biggest contributors to Bitcoin Core, right? Like the Bitcoin software. And then a lot of others. Tyler Frederick, I think he's Circle. Sorry, but yeah, and a few others, of course. Like you can look those up. They're on LinkedIn. They all have very interesting movement patterns on LinkedIn, right? Where like they just randomly start working for the Federal Reserve, Boston, and and it is about a high-performance payment processing system designed for central bank digital currencies. They're not mincing words. I mean, they're kind of chats, except they're like enslaving us. So, so that's the thing there. And I like here's a few comedic highlights. The first comedic highlight, in my opinion, I consider this is a research paper, right? So there's not gonna be like just like comedy in there, but like the first thing is that the one example they give, the one example is the coffee, right? Like to buy coffee in a cafe, and that always has been like this
It's a meme.
the example of like, oh, you wouldn't use Bitcoin to buy a coffee, right? Like, you're not that stupid to buy Bitcoin using coffee or something. And so I like that. That's the only example of using currency.
Yeah. I noticed that. I noticed that when I was reading.
And the second one, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So first of all, they why is this called Hamilton? Because of two Hamiltons, Margaret and Alexander. So Alexander is simple because he Alexander Hamilton, he laid the foundations for a U.S. central bank, so that makes total sense. But Margaret, he built the guidance system for the Apollo program at NASA. So she, I wanted to say she got us to the moon, right? And one of the big memes, in Bitcoin is, of course, to the moon. Yeah. Apparently, there's a little of controversy there, where like the guy, like she actually didn't write much software, and the guy just put her in charge to get into her pants. But that's a conspiracy theory that you guys can research on your own. And allegedly, you know. and yeah, so here you guys can see why CBDCs are completely different to what we have right now, right? Like cash is coming from central banks, and everybody can use it, right? Bank deposits are not from the central bank, of course, because they're the bank. And then central bank reserves, this is what we never touch, right? Like most people don't even know this exists.
Yeah.
But every bank itself has a bank account at the central bank, right?
Yeah.
So this is the thing that we never ever have to deal with. So this is not universally accessible. This is only accessible to the banks. Now CBDC is all three, right? Like it is basically everybody has a bank account at the Federal Reserve. So it is a completely different thing. Everybody has an account at just one big mega bank, and it is pretty crazy. And it is extremely similar to Bitcoin. So so first of all, they use UTXOs, right?
Yeah.
So they are having the same. It's basically the same transaction model as Bitcoin, and I want to show you guys the code here. There we go. Anyone who's done anything with Bitcoin is going to be like, yeah, that is Bitcoin, right? So we have inputs, we have outputs, and here they have witnesses. They have SegWit, right? So
Yeah.
they have segregated witness. But in normal Bitcoin transactions, the witnesses would simply be in the inputs. I don't know why I can't highlight stuff anymore, but yeah, just okay. Like this, the central bank took my ability to highlight text, but yeah. So you have an out point. It is a 32-byte transaction at the index that points to the output, and so forth. Right. Only here that outputs are public key, 32-byte public keys, which is what Bitcoin kind of spearheaded. And like Carol and I, we would use 33, and so forth. Also, since the value is a 64-bit integer, this means that the maximum number of US dollars that you can ever possess are 2 to the power of 64 cents. So yeah, it's a big limitation in the system. And no, just kidding. That was a joke. The rest was real. Yeah, and that's that. And I think one of the other big things is okay, well, now you allow me to highlight stuff again, or what? No, you don't. Okay, whatever. Yeah, the other thing is the UHS. I think it's called UHS. Did they talk about that somewhere? It's basically okay. They go into detail here. I think it's up here. Yeah, I don't know this by heart. Sorry about that. I am not. I did not learn this all. There we go. UHS, the UTXO hash set. So what it does, it doesn't store the balances. Maybe you see that here. Here. This is the UHS. This is what it looks like. And all of these are just 32-byte hashes, right? So this here, the number 1, 24BA, blah, 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 46, 32-byte hash, right? And so forth.
So it's not auditable.
It's not auditable. There's no balances whatsoever. You only store like this stuff all here. You have to know this, right? So it's you as the owner of I mean, as the owner of this money, you have to know the transaction ID where this came from. We have to know the index where it came from. You have to know the public key that it's locked behind, and you have to know how many dollars it is. This is not here. Where do you see the $2? There's no $2.15 anywhere. It's not there, but it's here. But this is in your wallet, right? This is not in the Federal Reserve. So this means that the money supply looks like this. at some point, right? So they will not be able to tell you what the money supply is. And basically what the system does is, like, mathematically it's really beautiful. Like, you have this set of unspent of the like UTXO hash set, and you basically, like, every transaction just like maps or like transforms it to a new UTXO hash set. Mathematically super beautiful, and we should do that in Ergon and eCash and whatever as well. But like, in terms of, you guys know, like, Ron Paul, right, audit the Fed and so forth. At some point, the Fed will be like, all right, guys, all right, we got it, let's audit us. And they're like, hey, here's huge S, like, go for it, eat it. And it's just random letters and digits. And Ron Paul will be like, what is this? And they're like, well, there it is. You're good. It's all fine. Yeah, nothing to see here. And yeah, and that's gonna, like, this is gonna be very, very interesting when, like, because you guys know that the Federal Reserve is private, right? Like, what happens if, like, the Federal Reserve can just print money and nobody knows about it, and they can just take money out of the money supply, nobody knows about it, right? It's just like this super Orwellian thing that we don't know. Like, we don't know anything about it. The government can't do anything about it, right? Like, even if they release the law, okay, you cannot do XYZ anymore. How do they, like, do they control the set? Do they know what's in there? Like, can you make a law that says, oh, this hash cannot contain this hash, like this pre-image? Like, no, they can't. Like, they technically can't issue a law that regulates how the Federal Reserve operates. Whoever is in charge of this, technically, they have full control over the money. Like, whoever runs the servers and whoever, like, issues the commands, they will be the ones that can completely to 100% determine the money supply. And that is the really scary thing, in my opinion.
So is that a side effect, or is this just sneaked because of something else, or it's exactly the reason why this UHS is there?
I don't know. The people say that, oh, this, like, makes wallets so much more complicated, that this must be intentional, because, like, like, the Federal Reserve, they also have to fight UX, right? Like, UX is one big thing and that's actually why the central banks are fundamentally a UX improvement, right? Just like previously you had banks and they all had their own reserves, but how do you send money from bank to bank, right? Like, it gets really, really hairy. Like, I don't want to get into the details. With the central bank, it gets super easy, right? You just tell like, this bank, this Uber bank, the central bank, it just connects every bank. So in my opinion, this is intentional, because if you I mean, it's so and so, because, like, there's huge speed advantages of having it as the hash set, because, like, here basically what they do is, like, this is so this gray box is the input, but then before this is so this is what's sent from the wallet. And then this goes to a Sentinel, and Sentinels is highly parallelizable, right? Like, you don't need to have one server there. You can have many, and they can be completely independent. But then this green thing here, the compact transaction, this is handled by the so-called coordinator, and the coordinator is just a single server, right? I mean, it's replicated and stuff, but, like, it has to be just a single one, because it has to do some ordering, right? Like, it has to order a batch of transactions, and that has to be done on just one device, on, like, one server. So this has to be super duper compact. So here you can see that this input is just a single hash, 32 bytes. And in reality, this is, like, much bigger. It's like I don't know, like something like 80 bytes, something of that order. So it's much bigger. And if you only store the 32 bytes, then you have, like, an immediate speed advantage of, like, a factor of, like, 4 or 2 of speed advantage. So it makes a lot of technical sense to do this. I hope this kind of explains it a little bit.
Yeah, it does. That's why you said you would want a cryptocurrency to have that.
Yeah, exactly. And
because instead of a single server doing ordering, you get blockchain in exactly this spot.
Yes, so that's why I'm a huge fan of this paper, and I spread it as far and wide. Like, this paper is everything, because number one, it has like this unmasking of the Bitcoiners, because like number one, no Bitcoiner talks about this. Number two, the Bitcoiners are the first named, right? It's like, okay, like, what is up with you Bitcoiners? And they just don't talk about it, right? Like, they don't care. It's not like even their processing. And number two, it's so well written. Like, this reads like, I don't know, like, you can just read this as a programmer, and it's just nice. Like, most papers, they're like hard to read, and it's like annoying, and you're like, you need to look up terms and stuff. No,
Yeah, you
but this
just
paper,
decipher.
yeah, this paper you can just read, right? Like, you can just, formally, I mean, this, like, here they're formalizing a little bit, but you're like, yeah, you get it. Okay, like a predicate P, yeah, I get that, right? Like, for lay people, it's a little bit harder, but I think lay people can still read it a little bit, especially the first the first 3 pages. I think those are very intelligible for normal humans. The rest is a little bit harder. And the third thing is that we can just carbon copy this because they copied us, right? Like, this is not like they came up with like these super sophisticated solutions. People in Bitcoin have been talking about this for a long while, right? Like, this is the system that I think we should have. You can read papers from Bitcoin ABC talking about something like this. That they have been talking about this, right? Like, they were like, okay, this is one of the reasons why Amaury wants to switch to a Merklix root,
Tree.
Merklix hash, Merklix tree. Yeah, there we go. And
Yeah,
because
Merkel's
like
tree, very brilliant, brilliant thing. I remember it makes scaling very good for canonically ordered transactions that we have in Ergon right now. Yeah, I hope one day Ergon will also have that, but well, I'm not that deep in the woods. I did only tiny changes, and I'm afraid of this code base mostly.
I'm actually like so comfortable on the eCash code base at this point. So there's a good chance that I'll implement that, but I don't know. Maybe Fabian can do it because he's a little bit of a giga chat in eCash.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I hope
but
one
yeah.
day we will have this, and inserting a transaction into the order. I mean, we still have a regular Merkle tree and canonically ordered transactions are making things a bit worse for recalculating the hash right now.
Yeah,
And
I'm not
Merkle
sure.
X3 would improve that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it actually makes it. No, I don't think it changes how hard it is to calculate.
Yeah, you're
I
not
mean,
when
I'm
you're
not really
canonically
seeing.
ordering transactions, you can't just add one and calculate the branch. You have to recalculate
I see.
the entire tree, so it makes it worse than the regular transaction ordering. I remember this was a big discussion during um, the BSV hard fork. The hard fork with BSV. They
Yeah,
were
but
saying that, well, doing canonical transaction ordering will be bad for performance, and the reply was that Merkle X3 will make it good, and we won't have to send. We won't have this big of a bandwidth because we only send the transactions that are included in the block. We're not sending the ordering data, which was like
you just have
some
to
huge
send a single bit
percentage.
of information for each transaction.
Yeah, ordering was like 70% or something of everything that is sent about the block. So we're actually reducing the bandwidth, but it happens at the cost of recomputing recomputing the hash and it's pretty bad compared to the regular. But
But
with
it's a super
Merkle
cheap
X3,
operation anyway. So I'm not like
excuse me?
too. It's a pretty cheap operation anyway, like computing the hash of
Yeah.
of
I
the
mean,
thing.
Merkle X3.
I mean, yeah, okay, like okay, if you're like okay, there's a million transactions, then yeah, it's gonna be quite expensive.
Yeah, yeah, and with Merkle X3 you get a logarithmic. I think it was log n or
Yeah,
n
yeah,
log n.
log
I'm
n.
not,
You
I'm
can
not sure about it.
You can update in log n. Yeah.
Yeah, you can update in log n with Merkle X3, but you can't with Merkle X3.
What I also like about Merclix trees is that you have proof of absence. Since they're ordered, you can be like, hey,
yeah,
look,
proof of absence, super important thing. Very
it's
awesome.
not there.
I remember I was hyped about it.
Yeah, I found that like the first time I found something out about Amaury was through the Merclix tree because I was searching proof of absence, and he was the only one that talked about the data structure that has a proof of absence that is like a cryptographic accumulator.
He actually invented the Merkle X3.
Yeah.
It's
He's a smart guy.
Merkle and Dedalnix combined.
Yeah. I mean, he's saying that it's like he's saying, "Oh no, this is a combination of Merkle tree and Radix tree, right?" So I'm like, come on, man! Like this sounds like Dedalnix. Come on, like Merkle tree, Dedalnix. I mean, I get it. You want to be humble, but like there has to be some subconscious, whatever. And,
yeah, but he invented it, so it can be just as well named after him, even if he doesn't want to. So
yeah, I agree.
Well, we can just give him a middle finger and say it's for us. It's named after him, right?
Yeah.
Him named it differently,
on
but
Twitter if you don't want it. But yeah, he's called like that almost everywhere, so that's good. Yeah, so that's the Project Hamilton. So I mean, this Project Hamilton doesn't have the Merklix tree because it's not a blockchain, but it has a lot of the other things, right? Like one of the biggest changes, in my opinion, that is absolutely brilliant is 1 second. Because I want you guys, if I show you the code, then you guys would be like, yeah, this makes total sense. No, like you see the inputs. If you go to input, I wish I could highlight that, but you just have to see input : it says outpoint, but then it says output, right? So you can see that the output that is being spent in the input, that is now in there, right? And this is not the case for Bitcoin. Everything else is pretty much the same. The only thing is that the witness would also be in the input. So basically it would, in Bitcoin right now, it's instead of output, it says witness. And the transaction then is only a list of inputs and outputs. But everything else is pretty much the same. The only thing that's also different is that the output would be a script instead of a public key, but it's very, very similar. Like before, it practically has little difference. The rest is exactly the same. The rest is identical. And and this is, I think, really, really interesting. And what it allows with the output, it allows this entire transaction to be verifiable completely in isolation, right? So like I could lock you in a cardboard box or like in a bunker, lock everything, and the only thing you get is like a computer, and I could give you a transaction that's formatted this way. And if you know the protocol, right, like you have all the constants and so forth, you could be like, okay, this is a transaction that checks out, right? Like everything in here balances, everything in here is correct, the signatures check out, and so forth. The only thing, of course, that you can't check is if these funds actually exist, right? Like you can't check that because like you're in a bunker, right? But if you weren't in a bunker, if you had access to the blockchain, then you could check if those funds exist. So that's why they split it into they call it, I think, validity checking, and the second thing is okay. I don't. But you does it make sense, Carol?
I mean, what stops us from verifying the validity of transactions a transaction in Bitcoin? I
Here
mean,
we go.
or in Ergon?
Yes, exactly. That is the correct question to ask, and the answer is that if we go back here, so if you want to verify the signature, then you need to know the output that is being spent.
Oh,
Because
I
this,
see. Oh,
right.
okay,
So
right,
what you have to do
right.
is you
We don't
have
have
to
that.
look up the output. So you can't verify it in isolation.
I see.
And
Yeah. It's actually brilliant. Yeah,
what
that they
this
put it
allows,
there.
yes, I mean this has been discussed in Bitcoin, right? Like this is not that like there are these uber geniuses that just like if this was in isolation, these would be like the biggest geniuses ever, right? Like these would be like aliens that descended from the heavenly realms and just gave us this Project Hamilton system that is just like incredible. But no, of course, they took a lot of the stuff, and this is correct, right? Like this is what you should do. Like you should always build on top of that other people already found out. So they're still gigachats, um, but this is not like purely coming from them. And here you can see it's called transaction local validation, and the
Yeah,
second one is called existence validation, right? So transaction
right.
local validation, you can do hyperparallel, right? Like you can spin up 1,000 servers, every single one does transaction local validation. They don't have to talk at all, right? Like they don't even know of each other's existence. And then there's existence validation, and this is the opposite, right? Like this is this only checks, okay, does this hash, is this basically from the
If the
perspective
output
of,
is
yeah,
valid, right? If the output is valid, you don't need that for signature check. It's brilliant.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you only check is it in this set? Is this in this UHS? Is it in there or is it not? Like that's the second check,
right.
and that's why you only need this compact transaction. And the compact transaction only like it really is only the hash of the UTXO, right? Like does this input
Yeah,
exist in the set? If yes, remove it, and for the outputs, make sure it doesn't exist yet. And if everything checks out, add it into the UHS.
yeah. It's
Really,
brilliant.
really,
Brilliant.
really, really cool system.
It's really brilliant. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I wish we had it.
Yep, yep. And I mean, the good thing is the code is open source, right? So you can just go here. You can just go to GitHub. Here we go. Oh, last week they worked on this. This is a very active thing. 2 weeks ago, is there anything even? Well, last week, yeah, last week. So since it is a Tuesday, this basically means they're actively working on this. This is a live and well project, and I don't know who's working on this. Who's that guy? Yeah, here you can see Corey Fields. Corey Fields actually is not as high anymore in the contributor list. So this guy is the number one. James
Oh,
Lovejoy. There we go. James Lovejoy. That's the
yeah.
first named author in this very important name, as you can see. Number two is Sam. Okay, whatever. Let's Ghost. Yeah. Anyway, it's very important to know who we're dealing with. They're all big nerds, and they're all enslaving us.
Man, we have an obligation to take their code.
Yeah, it's even written in C++. Yeah, so
Damn, that's heavy.
right,
Yeah.
mom spaghetti.
Uh, guys, I have to go. I have to go. It's almost
Oh,
midnight in my time zone, and Tobias as well. And I still have like homeworks to do.
Yeah, but this was some quality content, right? Like this is
Yeah,
like
but we
you don't get this
went
anywhere.
deep into technical stuff at the end, right?
I hope it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
this is what I love. This is my favorite thing. I hope people
very
can
awesome.
decipher it a little bit.
that's great.
Very awesome.
I have some people in the space who are in bigger projects who would really love to nerd out on this stuff as well. So getting them into the calls is going to be fun.
Oh, and just as a conclusionary thing, because like I did mention this, they actually pulled off to do 1.6 million transactions per second, right? So this is like no cryptocurrency does this right now, and if they do it, they're kind of like lying. But they actually did 1.6, well, no, 1.7 million transactions per second on their system, and it shows like that. That is absolutely incredible, and it's completely scalable. Like they just stopped, right? They're like, all right, we're good, right? Like we reached arbitrary number. We can do this later, so they could just double this as they want, right? They could do 100 million transactions per second or something, which if they wanted to do that. So that's, I think, the fascinating part, that this is like such an extremely efficient system, and it's not even that many computers. With on just a single AWS instance, they were able to do 100,000 transactions per second, which is weird, right? Like on just one instance, you can do with this system 100,000 transactions per second. If we ported this to Ergon, then I mean you would have to have a little bit of a beefy computer, but just one, and you could do basically the entire Visa network worth of transactions. Like it's just crazy, and I think it is because Satoshi fundamentally discovered a new primitive, a new mathematical primitive, which is the UTXO. It's kind of like a miracle, to be honest. Itself, like it's kind of underappreciated how brilliant the UTXO is, and it happens to have these crazy scalable properties.
Well, I've been working with these literal UTXO experts for the past 4 years, and like I really he already agreed the 5th of February. That week he'll be available to come on calls with us, but he'll love this stuff. He'll love to be able to talk to you guys about this stuff, but he thinks they think UTXOs are like you said, a miracle. So it'll be
That's
a
good to
really
hear.
nice conversation.
Yeah. Tobias, so to add this to Ergon, we basically need to activate Mitra, right?
Yes, exactly. So I actually knew that this should be done long before they released the paper.
Nice.
And that's why I like in Mitra, this was always a big point of that this should be done. With Mitra, one thing is that it also adds some more things, right?
Yeah.
Like if you look at the transaction format in Project Hamilton, it's super duper simple, right? Mitra is like kind of the opposite, right? So okay, let's add this, let's add that, let's add loops, right? So you can loop in scripts and so forth. Has the preamble. I think the big thing in Mitra is the preamble, where like you can basically taint UTXOs. And you know, like, not to bring it back to the plugin spec, right? Like the chronic plugin thing, it is kind of a little bit like a Mitra Lite, except in a non, like in a different layer, right? Like it's a second layer Mitra kind of, where like you can just taint coins using scripts, except the script is Python. In Mitra, you can taint them using Bitcoin scripts, and it's going to be actually part of the UTXO and part of the consensus, kind of. So that's why I'm also like a little bit excited about the plugin system, because it allows us to experiment in a very like you don't. It's not even consensus, right? Like you can experiment in this way. But Mitra also has that. But yeah, one of the things why I did it is because I know we need this, right? Like this will be needed because otherwise we can't scale the blockchain. So, but since it's a big change, right? Like very difficult to implement for wallets, let's also add like one or two other things, like the preamble, in order to make this even better, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's a huge argument. Like the fact that that it does have this
Scalability,
essentially
right?
hyper parallelizability.
Yes,
That's a
exactly.
huge argument for it, and yeah, have to figure out a way to do it the least intrusively that we can, as we can, so we don't like get debuff from breaking compatibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the thing. So my plan there is because like eCash will probably want to implement this, and but they face an uphill battle because they're like kind of a mid coin. Like they're relatively big, but they're not like super big, so they can't really force anyone to add that. But they would be totally open to just add it, and then it can be just run over in Lotus or Ergon or whatever, because they're so small that it's much easier to change the transaction protocol.
Yeah. I think we have the advantage to add it like on a testnet, but in real life.
Yeah.
But not with an icon. I mean, yeah, we essentially have to contact the exchanges and ask how their transaction how their transaction indexing works, right? So how their transaction indexing works. We could essentially also try something like having a compatibility mode in the node that would strip away the additional data and show the transaction with the old format, like translate it back and
That's so interesting.
and use the the official. The actual format only for internals of the blockchain.
But that's so dangerous because the transaction ID will also change, right?
Yeah.
So like
you basically can't generate transactions with an unprepared wallet.
Well, I mean, so the thing is that like the plan is to have both versions until you like deprecate the old one, right?
Yeah.
So old wallets will still be able to make transactions. All you have to do is like give them data in such a way that they think that they got old, like in the old format, but it's actually in the new. Because like it should still be compatible, right? Like if you receive coins in the new transaction format, then you should still be able to make a transaction using the old format, right? And that way, it should be possible to just send you coins, and then an old wallet should pick it up. So yeah, that's an interesting take. Like the way I think is that you like if you're in compatibility mode, you issue a get raw transaction or something, and instead of getting the raw transaction, you get like a reformatted thing. That,
exactly. That's what that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about.
It sounds super dangerous, but it's kind of genius. Yeah,
thanks. Thanks. Maybe that's the way to
just activate it.
Yeah, it sounds dangerous, and maybe it is. I don't know, man. I don't know. We have to rethink this. I just came up with this idea. So
so good night. Like with that thing in mind.
Yeah, I will certainly sleep like a baby. We'll be waking up every 2 hours with crying.
Yeah, because for the audience, Karol has huge insomnia issues. So it's a perfect timing to give him like crazy ideas on how to scale blockchains and how to actually implement it. Right? Like we basically have implemented it already in Karol's mind. He just has to write it down, but he can't because he needs to sleep.
Yeah. So I'm basically nerd slapped now. Nerd slapped. If anyone watching this isn't familiar with nerd slapping, it's the technique where you show a nerd a poster with a cool problem, and they stop and drop everything because their brain glitched. And if you do that in the middle of a crossroad, they get hit by a car and you get a nerd slap.
I actually don't like googling nerd slap. I don't. I can't find anything.
There's snipe.
Snipe.
Nerd snipe.
Okay. Nerd sniping.
Nerd
Okay,
snipe.
it was nerd sniping.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's snipe. Let's snipe.
that's the meme.
Yeah, that's
Nerd
the
sniping.
meme.
There we go.
Nerd sniping. Yeah, there it is. X KCD.
You're so distracted by the question that you get hit by truck coon.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, I think I found it. Here, this
Oh,
is the
you're
one,
screen
right?
sharing. Yeah, great.
It's a certain type of brain that's easily disabled. If you showed an interesting problem, it voluntarily drops everything else to work it out. This has led me to invent a new sport, nerd sniping. See that physicist crossing the road? Hey, notice it been great of ideal 1 ohm resistors. What's the equivalent resistance between the two marked nodes? Boom. Well, I have no part in this. Come on, man. It's fun. 6 are 2 points. Mathematicians are 3. Oh my god. Oh, wait. I overlooked this panel. It's interesting. Maybe you should start with no wait. Maybe. Exactly. So this is what I just did to Cadwell with the Project Hamilton white paper.
Yeah.
Get your sleep.
Okay, guys. I have to say goodbye.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Adios, amigo.
Bye.
This is good content. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Hey.
Peace.